Welcome back, world, to Verbal Intercourse Podcast. Got your host, Nick Walker, back in the building today. Shout out to everybody that's been listening, that's been supporting the podcast. Really appreciative over here at Verbal Intercourse. And today we got a very special guest in the building, the young Phil Jackson, Anthony Carlyle, 6-time state champion, man. How you doing, bro?
Man, I'm doing good, man. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, dog, man. I've been trying to get you on, but, you know, schedules and shit happens, you know what I'm saying? But, yeah, man, really appreciative for you to stop in the Verbal Intercourse Podcast, man. And, yeah, we just going to kick it off, man. We're going to start it right off, man. I've been observing you for a while. I done, saw your success. I've been at your games. I seen the command that you have with your players and everything, and I seen all your success as a coach, but I didn't know that you was a great player as well, growing up. So talk to me a little bit about your personal basketball career before we get into your coaching career.
Man, it was a time before all the social media stuff now.
Yeah.
It was a time where if you play AAU, you had to be like the Monte Ellises and the Al Jeffersons to be on the AAU team. It wasn't like – I didn't even get to play AAU because I wasn't a Monte Ellis or Al Jefferson, those type of guys. So I was just a guy in high school, man, just a point guard, coach's son. The traditional way back then, when you ninth grade, you play ninth grade. Then when 10th grade, I end up starting, and my role was just basically to get the ball to the guys who could score really well and defend. And then by the time I got to my junior and senior year, it was my time to kind of score a little more. And I was like, well, hey, I've been playing defense for a couple of years. Somebody else got to play defense, so I could save my energy on the offensive end. But I just was a guy that just wanted to get in the gym and. My daddy didn't hold my hand. He didn't make me go to the gym. I used to go in there sometimes and shoot, and my goal was to make about 400 shots a day between mid-range, threes, free throws, and a lot of times I had to get my own rebound, And if he rebound for me and I miss and it bounce all the way to the other side of the gym, he like, that's on you. Yeah. He like, if you want me to rebound for you, you got to make them come through the net. So that's the same thing I tell my son.
Oh, that's dope, bro. So, talk to me a little bit about you played in college as well.
Yeah.
Where'd you play at?
Holmes Community College.
Holmes Community College. So talk to me a little bit about the difference from being a high school basketball player into being a college basketball player.
It wasn't much difference until my second year because I was played the point guard position, so that was natural. But during that season, we started off, we had about 3 or 4 guys to get hurt. So now – because I was like one of the strongest guys lifting weights on the team, coach was like, hey, we just got to kind of plug some guys in. So normally I'm running the point. And he was like, I need you to kind of help at the 3. So I was like, oh, my gosh.
On the college level.
So it go from where, guys you're guarding or guarding you are 5'10" to maybe 6'1", 6'2", which you're used to dealing with. But now here I am playing the 3. And a guy guarding me 6'5" to 6'7", and first thing they looking at the beginning of the game at their coach like, hey, post me up,
Yeah.
And then on the other end, just having to deal with them longer guys, night in and night out. It took me probably the first half of that season until after Christmas break to adjust to that size and that kind of thing. And then the second half of the season, I had a much better, on the court than the first half.
That's dope, bro. You and then you in the Hall of Fame for them, huh?
Yeah.
That's dope, bro. That's dope, man. So, you previously talked a little bit about your work ethic as a player. Do you, as a coach, do you see players in this era having work ethic like you had to get to the next level? Like, is it very far and in between, or do you think that it's kids out there that's just really not working as much? Because when I look at basketball now, I know specifically on the college level and even on the high school level, I be like, man, these kids, they might be tall, they might can run, they might can jump, but they ain't skilled. They can't shoot, they can't dribble, they make crazy mistakes with the ball, they can't pass. So talk to me a little bit about, like, the work ethic of the kids that you see.
It's very seldom do you find some that just willing to work.
Yeah.
And I think when you have some that are willing to work, because there's so many that's not working, they stand above everybody else. I remember when Malik Newman came, through, and you see the video where he was working out 2 and 3 times a day.
Mm-hmm.
He was so much better than everybody that he was around because he was always in the gym, and other guys not. And just coaching for the last 15 years, very seldom do you just get kids that just are hungry and just want to be in the gym on their own.
Mm-hmm.
Nowadays, kids just want to get in the gym because they got their video guy coming in and going to record.
Let's go viral.
Do a few handles, and
Yeah.
then once it hits stop, all right, I'm done. They just having some, doing something to post or whatever. But I think the ones that get in and are truly trying to get better, those the ones that you constantly hear their names, those the ones you see moving on to the next level.
Yeah. With everything, bro, you got to work, like, you know what I'm saying? So talk to me a little bit about your maturation as a coach, because I saw you coach at Velma Jackson. I didn't get the chance to see you coach at Columbus because, y'all was way up there. But I saw you coach at Yazoo. So talk to me a little bit about your maturation as a coach with those different programs, and also tell me, like, you done got 6 rings. Which was your most talented team, or which team that you enjoy coaching the most?
My development as a coach started when I was in Yazoo City the first time as an assistant. And my daddy coached girls and boys, and I was an assistant with girls and boys. And he felt like one particular year in 2009 that the girls team was good enough to win a state championship. He thought the boys had a chance, but he just felt like the girls just had a little better chance. So we were in the playoffs, and they had to play basically the same night. So he decided to go up north. I think it might have been to New Albany or somewhere like that to go with the girls. And he was like, hey, I'm going to send you and the other assistant with the boys. This is my first year as a coach.
Yeah.
I was just at Southern Miss and, hanging out the previous year. So now you putting me in a very important playoff game. And we ended up losing to New Hope. And, man, I was sick. Like, I was like, oh, this is for real. And I literally, man, I didn't want to leave the house the next couple of days. I felt like I had let the city down.
Yeah.
And then me and the assistant had to get on the road and go to the girls' playoff game, which we ended up winning the state championship that year. So it was like, okay, well, I can get used to this.
Yeah.
And I left. I went to Velma Jackson. My first year, it was different because now you're a head coach. So it was some things that I didn't know, but I never let the kids know that I didn't know. It just, hey, I got to figure it out until I learned. And we was trying to sell them on conditioning, working hard, doing those type of things. They thought I was crazy. And then the second year, we won the state championship. That was the best thing that could have happened because now whatever I said, they were going to do.
Yeah.
And we came back, we won the second one, and then we won the third one. So most times when you win a state championship, you lose maybe your best player or you lose a key piece. We always retain, our main 4 guys. And we'll just kind of plug in the next year when we lose that person. Plug in. So we never did lose a Quindary or a Moses or a Didi or Anthony. Like, those main 4 guys stayed intact, and that very seldom happened on the championship team on the high school level.
Yeah.
And so we won that one, and, people kind of looked at that 2015 team like, man, you loaded, and you just got a lot of talent. But they didn't remember the 2013 and 14 team when we kind of struggled to win those championships. They just saw, like, the finished product. And then, like I say, Columbus, that was different. I don't think I win that year in Columbus without winning at Velma because it gives you an idea of what the finished product should look like. So once you win and you know what the finished product look like, now it's your job to work on the beginning and the in-between to try to get it to that end point. So I was like, hey, man, they hired me to do a job. We got 9 months to get this done. And we were very successful and kind of got it going around that January, kind of got it rolling and won that one. And then Yazoo City called and, asked me to come back home, and I decided to do that one. So that's just kind of like, each year I think I've gotten a little more relaxed.
Yeah.
Like when I was early on, it was kind of like intense. I got to do this at this level. Now it's kind of like I know what it takes to get there, so I know kind of how to pace myself. not overreact on certain losses early in the season, because sometimes you lose and you feel like it's the end of the world, but it's like, okay, we working on something bigger. So, that's just one of the things as far as my maturation from Velma up until now. And I think hands down the best team that I've had would be that 2015 Velma Jackson team.
Yeah.
I had hired an assistant coach that summer, and he was with me, and I told him, I said, hey, look around. It's not always like this.
Yeah.
Because we had basically 4 Division I guys on one team.
Yeah.
So I was like, man, I could coach another 20 years and may not never get another team like this where you talented, they've already won, and then they're still together.
Mm-hmm.
So that's hands down probably the best team that I had.
That's dope, bro. And you also you had a Weatherspoon that was in the Final Four this year. I know that was crazy, and you was there, right?
Yep, I went out there.
Yeah, and that's crazy. That's something that he can hold over his brother's heads. Like, I'm in the Final Four. Like, talk to me a little bit about that energy in the Final Four, seeing one of your former players play in the Final Four.
Man, it was crazy, and I was so happy for him because, if you have siblings, and especially in the sports, and you the baby brother, a lot of times, they always talk about, Quinn.
Yeah.
And he had a lot of success, and he had just won a championship last year with the Golden State Warriors. Nick was the middle child. He was a 5-star prospect, getting recruited all across the country. So now you the baby brother, and you like, I got to live up to this. But I love the fact that, he's had his own path. He didn't get to go straight to a Power 5 straight out of high school. He had to go the JUCO route, and then he didn't still get to a Power 5. He was probably at mid-major. So having that and then making it to the Final Four, like on his own path, man, he was excited all year. We watched him at Ole Miss, and then I went to the Final Four. And just seeing him out there on the court and the energy in the building, like, that probably was the best game of the Final Four.
For sure.
And it just...
I hate they ain't make it because I think they was better than San Diego State. They just had some lapses in the crunch time.
Right.
Yeah.
And it just, man, I was like, one day I just want to be able to coach in this atmosphere, man.
Yeah, definitely, dog. So you talked a little bit about how you've grown to be comfortable coaching on the high school level, and it kind of, to me, it kind of feels like, you ready for new challenges, and of course I'm sure you would say you're ready for new challenges. So talk to me a little bit about the challenge of getting to that next level as a coach, because I'm sure a lot of people always in your ear, man, you should coach here, you should coach there, man, it's time for you to move on. You don't want 6 rings. And so I'm sure you got a lot to prove. And you still young, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So talk to me a little bit about what it's like trying to get to that next level, the difficulty it is.
It's hard. It's just like, if you're a high school coach and you play ball in high school, the high school coach may say something about the middle school coach.
Yeah.
Like, oh, they ain't teach you this, or you ain't do this, or you ain't do that. So sometimes on the high school level, sometimes middle school coaches will look down upon if, they're not doing certain things. And it's just the same thing on the collegiate level. They look at high school coaches like, hey, yeah, you're doing good at that level, but we're not sure if what you're doing translates to this level yet. And, up the ladder. But, I was kind of pressing hard. Really, I had a few opportunities when I was at Velma. I didn't think I was quite ready yet, for some junior college jobs at that time. So I didn't really pursue them hard, and I was like, nah, I just want to kind of wait. And then once we won in Columbus, it was like I felt like I was ready. And I wanted some opportunity, but wasn't none available,
Yeah.
So, and then after being in Yazoo City and trying to rebuild that program, it just was like, I think I'm ready for that level. I want to do it, but the opportunity just hadn't presented itself yet. And I'm a firm believer. Like, I pressed really hard early because I felt like, hey, I think it's my time. But then, I just, like I said, I got a little more calmer. I prayed about it. Like, I just feel like everything happens the way it's supposed to happen, because if I would have been at the college level already, I wouldn't be able to experience the success that we had in Yazoo City this year. So I just feel like everything kind of happens, how it's supposed to.
So do you think if you had this same type of success in maybe Texas, do you think you would still have the same issues of getting to the next level? Or what if you was in like Michigan, where it's a basketball state? Do you think you would have had those same issues getting to the next level?
I don't think so. I mean, it's hard to say because I believe everybody path is their own path.
Mm-hmm.
But, like you see where you might see a Nate Oates being successful at Alabama, and, you're here. He started off as a high school coach, this and that. And it's just so many success stories around college basketball where guys started off as high school coaches and they were successful where they were, and then they got an opportunity somewhere in the area that they was at. And it's like, okay, what else, do I need to do? What else do I need to prove in a sense? But, I honestly feel like now I feel like I'm ready. Mm-hmm. I feel like I've checked off every box, being at Velma, had pros, going to Columbus, which was 6A, and then going back home to Yazoo City, a program when we went there, it was only 8 wins, and we had to take our lumps, and we had a lot of obstacles in the way, and then it was like, okay, like literally now, it's just kind of hard to just want to keep doing high school at this point, because it's like,
What's the motivation?
Yeah,
I feel that. So, I follow you. We've been following each other on Facebook, Twitter, all that type of stuff for a long time. And I see you close with your players. You know what I'm saying? You joke with them. You trip out with them. And to me, it's kind of like, I wouldn't call you like a father figure to them, because I'm sure they might have fathers, but you are that figure in their life that's a stable, good foundation, a good role model to these players. So I wanted to ask, are you like a player's coach, or are you just, you just have that good stance with all your players and your former players?
I mean, I think I'm a player's coach. Like, I'm in tune to what they listening to.
Okay.
I talk to them all the time, and I be messing with them. Like, man, look, in order for me to understand you, what you listening to?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh man, no wonder we turning the ball over.
Yeah. NBA young boy.
Right. So, it just, I talk with them, but they know my thing is you got to defend.
Yeah.
Like, that's the non-negotiable.
Yeah.
And then on offense, like, I'm gonna let you do whatever it is that you do. I tell them all the time, our offense simple. Best player gonna shoot it the most, second best, the second most, third, and on down the line.
Best player gonna shoot it the most.
That's the easiest offense.
Yeah.
But everybody got to defend.
Yeah.
And then if you do that, on the offensive end, we just identify what's a good shot, what's a bad shot. All right, you want to take this shot, that's cool, but you need to be in the gym working on it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you're not in the gym, I don't want to see you shoot a shot in the game and say you got 8 attempts tonight, and after practice this whole week, you don't even have 8 attempts after practice. Don't get in the game and shoot my ball.
Well, what Patrick Ewing say? He said, Patrick Ewing was like, man, you don't practice that shot. I never seen you shoot that shot.
Right. Like, so, I tell them all the time, man, as long as you in the gym and putting in work, I don't mind you taking certain shots or doing whatever it is that you do, but you have to be in the gym. If you're not, then you're not going to get it. You don't get that reward. That's only right.
That's real. That's real. Man, so we're going to switch lanes a little bit. I wanted to ask, we kind of touched on it a little bit early in the interview, but I wanted to ask, it's always been a friction between high school coaches, AAU coaches, and entourages and whatever you have these days. Talk to me a little bit about, do you think AAU coaches, like their job, is it intertwined with the high school coach? Are they helping the players, or are they kind of hurting the development? Because the summer is a time for development. You know what I'm saying? You're supposed to be weight training, conditioning, working on fundamentals, working on things that you can't do well, but you're on an AAU team that's not really practicing. They just getting on the plane, getting on the bus, going to tournaments, playing, and it's a bunch of fouling, a bunch of bad shots, a bunch of wear and tear on the players, as you got them playing 3 and 4 games in a day. So talk to me a little bit. How do you feel about the AAU circuit, and does it overall help the development of a player?
I tell kids all the time, and I tell parents, in my opinion, and it's mine, I feel like AAU is a platform.
Yeah.
It's for guys that are already good.
Right.
Because, like you mentioned, you're not practicing that much.
Nope.
If they practice, it may be a practice on a Friday or a Saturday on this weekend, but you're probably playing more games than you practice. Yeah. So that's for the kid that's already at a certain skill level, for him to be able to go out and go against other guys with similar type skill to see where he's at. Sometimes people put their child on the AAU team and think that that's gonna make them good
and get smoked.
That's not the case. It's for guys that are already good, you know, or at a certain level, so that we can see, okay, now let's put you against some more, you know, talent on the floor to challenge you to see how you're gonna respond. But I think so often, man, people think that, oh, just because I got my child on this AAU team, that, you know, his ball handling finna get better, or he finna be able to shoot the ball better. No, he gets better at that by being in the gym. So even my guys, if they play AAU, that's cool. But if we working out, you with me probably Monday through Thursday, getting skill work. Now when you go play, that's your opportunity to showcase, you know, what you've been working on type of deal, because, you know, kids change teams every weekend, so you're not doing nothing as far as continuity defensively, offensively. You just hooping.
Yeah.
You know, if you catching on the wing, you got to have something in your bag to go get a bucket, because if you pass, you probably not getting it back.
And, you know, it's crazy because I feel like, you know, growing up, I graduated 07, so you would have been way before me.
03.
Yeah. So when I played with Jackson Panthers, and I feel like as an AAU program at that time, we was actually practicing, working on defensive concepts and all that stuff. But I think AAU is like different now than it was even back then. Like, I feel like, cause I mean, when I was with them, we did have a lot of people that was, you know, from different areas and stuff that would have to, oh, okay, coach got to go pick him up 2 hours away, bring him to practice, bring him to this tournament. And we got guys from Louisiana, Alabama on our team. You know, we a real select team. But even at that time, like, I feel like we had structure. When I was around the AAU circuit the past couple of years, I'm like, it's like literally no structure. It's just like you said, first pass, I'm shooting. You know what I'm saying? I seen one kid, I ain't gonna say his name, but he was a big time recruit. He told the coach, he said, "Hey, you pull me out this game, I'm finna quit this team." And like, it's crazy because these days, these kids, they got the they got like the contract or whatever. They the reason the contract is with the team, like the shoe deal, like the Nike, the Adidas. And if they leave that team, that deal leaves that team, which it'll like mess up. So the coaches are just like, well, I can't take them out. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just like, bro, I don't know if we doing this the right way. Like I look at college right now, and I just look at a bunch of guys that cannot get buckets. And I just be like, where the skill level at? Like, I look at the girls Final Four, and I'm just like, these girls hooping.
Yep.
Look at the guys Final Four, barely a shot being made. So, man, talk to me a little bit about, like, do you think it's a skills drop-off from when you played and the people that you played against to now? Or how you feel about that?
I think it is to a certain extent, because they have so many other distractions.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't have any distractions coming up.
Social media. No.
Yeah, like, we wanted to get out the house. We wanted to play. We wanted to, you know, not be in there. We didn't watch a lot of TV or have cell phones and that kind of thing. So we had to stay busy. But now they got these phones. They got social media. They got a lot of other distractions that can kind of pull them away from basketball. And, you know, like you said, when you played AAU, it wasn't that many teams.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
It was competitive.
Yeah.
You had a lot of the top talent. Now, you know, you still have maybe a few of those teams, but a lot of it's kind of watered down to where, you know, everybody has a team. They may not be practicing or have that type of structure.
Linking up for the tournament.
Right. Guy just walk in the gym, how you want to play today, and, you know, you can roll with us, and you get a jersey, and, you know, another kid mad that this guy playing and never seen him at practice before type of deal. So, you know, I just think that kids have to understand. And you have some AAU programs that work their kids out and
from up here to all the way up here. They keep the same kids, and that's how they get
the same
good.
ones.
Yeah.
So it's some that are out there that are doing it the right way, but it's still, you got, you know, a lot where, kids are just playing or parents get mad because they not playing and switching teams. It just, man, it's rough.
Yeah, bro. So, yeah, man, we going to switch lanes a little bit, man. The NBA playoffs finna start, bro. Like you remember we used to be at the Applebee's. We used to be at the Applebee's watching the games, bro. That was a crazy time. That had to be in about 2011, 2012. But anyway, man, what I wanted to ask you, you a big LeBron James fan. Do we got another run in him? I know he can run. Do the Lakers have any type of shot? Because ESPN, all these big platforms been saying, the Lakers can get to the finals. And I'm just like, I'm a Laker fan, and I've been watching this. I don't think we can get nowhere near the finals. You know what I'm saying? But talk to me, man. What you think?
I think it's an uphill battle.
Yeah.
But a team, when you got a healthy Anthony Davis, LeBron.
a healthy,
Keyword on healthy.
Yeah.
But and LeBron, they obviously talented enough to be able to will a team there. Now, the pieces that they traded for, I just think the longer that they stay in the playoffs, the better they'll have a chance to kind of gel.
Mm-hmm.
If this was pre-trade, they don't have a shot.
Oh, nah. Pre-trade, we don't even be here right now.
Right.
Yeah.
So now, I think they can be competitive. I'm still not sold, and because when you watch them, you be like, man, I know they ain't gonna do nothing. And then you give you a game or two, start getting you a little hope, and then come back, let you down by it. You be like, man, look.
I tweeted the other day. I said, man, they need to put a health advisory sticker on before they put these Lakers on. Because I promise, if you got any cardiovascular issues, them ain't the people that you need to be watching or rooting for. Because, bruh, I like that game the other night. Like, that game shouldn't have never been that close. It shouldn't have never even went to overtime. It's just crazy. Like, it's like they can't finish games. And it's just like, man, to be honest, I had more fun watching the playoffs last year that they won in. Because you don't have to worry about watching them no more.
Mess up your whole mood.
Right. but man, I'm gonna be tuning in, man. It's hope for the best, man. I hope LeBron got one more run in it, because if he do, I will say it on all platforms that he the greatest player of all time. If he able to get this team to the finals, I might say it, because it's just like this team, it got so many holes in it, so many inconsistencies. My starting shooting guard wasn't even drafted, so. I don't know, man. He can do this, then I'm going to be like, okay, maybe so. But I don't know. It's going to be an uphill battle, like you say.
It's an uphill battle. I'm not getting my hopes up.
I don't have my hopes up. Everybody's saying, I read some on Bleacher Report today that somebody wrote, they were saying, they could sweep Memphis. And I'm like, bruh, not this team I just saw on Tuesday play.
Nah.
And then your first two games in Memphis, so I definitely don't see them winning game one, but I don't know, man. Maybe they'll surprise us all.
And then that energy in that building,
I love a Grizzly game.
It's gonna be another level.
So. I went to the Grizzlies game, playoff game, probably 2 years. Was that 2 years ago when they played? I think they was playing Utah. But because big dude was out there, light skinned cat. But I'm gonna be tuning in, bro. So man, to round this interview off, man, I want you to drop some words of encouragement, because you've been real successful, you've been a staple in your community, and if you got any keys to success, to drop that you either share with your family or share with your team, drop a little bit of knowledge to us, man.
One of the biggest ones I think that I've had to kind of deal with through my career is leave your feelings out of it. And by that I mean, like, even my kids, like, I fuss at them, they get on them or something, and I'm like, keep playing though. A lot of times these kids, they get in their feelings because you fussed at them. Even in the coaching, like when I was at Velma and left there. Well, the first time I was at Velma, I got interviewed for the Columbus job. It was between me and Luther Riley. You had half the people wanted Luther. You had another half that wanted me. They ended up going with Luther Riley. So they come back the next year, hey, are you interested? I was like, nah, it's kind of late in the summer, you know, and I think I got a team that can compete next year, you know, and I turned it down. And then the next year, I end up going, you know. So I tell people all the time, don't have, you know, hard feelings in this business if, you know, you get overlooked or you don't get chosen or, you know, if things don't go your way. You just got to kind of keep working. You just got to keep, you know, pushing forward. And same thing with Yazoo City. When my dad ended up retiring, I didn't like the way it ended. I had made the statement to myself, I'll never go back to Yazoo City and coach.
Yeah.
You know, just on. But look where I end up, you know. So you have to take your feelings out of it and then just understand, man, trust God and just, you know, keep pushing, man. And whatever decision that you do make along the way, best advice my dad gave to me when I went to Columbus, because it was like, man, you know, I think I left some championships on the table at Velma.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm up here, I moved, new city, you know, just different surroundings. And he said, man, you made your decision. Now you make it work.
Yeah.
You know, and that just always has stuck with me. So whatever decision I make or wherever school I'm working or coaching at, hey, that's a decision that I made. Now it's up to me to make it work.
Yeah. Yeah, man. That's dope, man. That's good advice, bro. Keep your feelings up out of it, man. And, you know, appreciate you for rocking with us today, man. Coach Anthony Carlyle, 6-time champion, young Phil Jackson, and we out. Peace.